I'm Isis. I'm an industrial designer from Brooklyn. 8 months ago, founded Spitfire Industry. We focus on mostly urban problems, transportation, sustainability, and stuff like that. And I'm going to talk about, I guess, our first project, which is EcoHelmet. It's a folding, recyclable helmet for bike share. The two things I love in the world more than anything is travel and cycling. That's me pretending to be a bike messenger about 10 years ago. If I could spend my life just going to new cities and riding around and seeing things, that would be fantastic. I usually bring a bike with me, but when I don't, I use bike share, which is springing up all around the world. I think in New York City alone, we're averaging like 80,000 rides a day on peak season. It's amazing, and it really changes the face of the city. It makes bicycles a utilitarian option rather than a luxury option or a sport. That said, I'm a real klutz, and I'm a habitual helmet wearer. And especially when I'm overseas, I'm quite concerned about my safety. If I were to ride a bike here, you all drive like complete maniacs, and you drive on the wrong side of the road, and I would be terrified, and I would probably get flattened pretty quick. So I would want to wear a helmet. The actual efficacy of helmets is up for debate, but I think what's more important is that people really do feel safer with them. They feel more confident, they feel more willing to ride in an unfamiliar place, and they feel more comfortable just having a spontaneous ride in a new city, maybe with streets that they've never seen before. Of course, traditional bike helmets and bike share don't really mix. They're bulky, they're quite expensive. This one, I think, is $50, and that's at cost, and they are not recyclable. So if you're having a spontaneous ride and you leave your bike share bike in the dock, then you have this big helmet you've either got to take home with you or throw it in the bin, and it goes into a landfill, and it sits there for 10,000 years, literally, because polystyrene is not recyclable at all. So I said, OK, I need to make a helmet that folds flat, is very cheap, and is recyclable, no problem. I started with the last one. I thought that was going to be the hardest problem to tackle, which is the recyclability. And obviously, traditional materials don't work because there are various polystyrenes and plastics and things like that. So I landed pretty quickly on paper honeycomb. It's used for furniture, it's used for airdrops, it's used for packaging. It's really, really good at absorbing impact one time. But that's all you need if it's a helmet. You're not going to be falling on your head 2 times in one day. I started developing this when I was studying at Keio University in Tokyo, and they don't have any kind of crash rig. It's a media design program, so that's understandable. So I did old school crash testing. I didn't get any data, but it seemed promising. But then I had to put it on hold because it was a hunch. Fortunately, my next stop was at Imperial College in London, and that ought to be a video of a weight falling on a piece of cardboard. Well, in any case, I managed to get data that told me that, in fact, it did work, and it did absorb impact actually rather better than bottom-of-the-line polystyrene helmets. And that was great because I was like, OK, this is worth pursuing. I have the data, I have the material. How do I make it into something that people will actually wear? In order to work as a helmet, the honeycomb material has to be modified. Each cell needs to be perpendicular to your head so that you can fall in any direction and still be fully protected. You can't get this stuff commercially. It doesn't exist. So I had to make it layer by layer. And I made dozens of prototypes this way by hand, and it was horrible, and I hope I never have to do it again. But it was really important because it needed to look a certain way, and it needed to fit, and it needed to have 0 assembly. And I finally managed to come up with something that looks OK, works, and doesn't require any assembly steps whatsoever. You put it on, clip it, you're good to go. When you're done, take it off, fold it's very small, throw it in the bin, carry on with your day. So that was fine, but as I think most designers know, if you come up with something cool and you finish it and you say, all right, that's great, then you don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. Unfortunately, now I had to put this into production because I was getting a lot of attention from bike share companies, bike users, people all around the world who just would rather like one and were quite aggressive about expressing that to me. So I did things that I don't enjoy, which is business and patents and lawyers and partnerships and money and all that stuff. It was very unfamiliar, and fortunately, everyone's been very patient with me. And over the past couple of months, I've been getting some very exciting boxes in the mail labeled prototype. Some of them don't work. This was one of the first ones. You put it on your head, and it just got longer and longer and longer. Not great. This one looked really cool, but if you were going to be in a crash with it, you would get little honeycomb-shaped core samples of your head because it was built like a tank. These two are probably going to make it to New York before I do. So I'm very excited. There's going to be a very exciting box on my desk when I get back to the studio. But according to the factories, these ones are probably sound, cross all the fingers. So we are tentatively looking at a launch date this year. I'm hoping very, very hard to get these out this summer. We're going to do a small pilot program in New York City. It'll be very easy for me to commute to and interfere with, and then hopefully expand internationally to all the people who have demanded these things, and it's very exciting. Again, this was one of the first products I did as Spitfire, and I've learned a huge amount. And I've been trying to take the ethos and the ideals that I got from working on this helmet into the rest of my studio practice. So I want my work to get people outside. I want people to engage with the world, whether it's a little folding scooter that you can keep in your laptop bag, or a multi-tool for camping, or something to make your backpack cooler in the summer, or even just like a cat robot that flicks something at you if you sit still too long. Like, this is what I want to do. I think I want people to get out and experience the really amazing reality that we live in. And finally, I just want to say that a great deal of my country, and I think all of my city, is right now somewhere between mourning and panic over the state of the world. It can be quite paralyzing and horrifying. It's just this sense that everything is falling apart. And to be here and to see all the really amazing, open-minded, clever, thoughtful, diverse projects is a great privilege, and it's giving me a lot of courage, and it's giving me a lot of hope. And I'm going to take that home with me. Thank you.